Hey, Chris and Sarah, good evening. You know, I talked to the fire chief a little bit earlier. He said crews are still working on dismantling this, and that's what I was ready to report to you here right before the 6th, but now it's looking like that story is beginning to change right now. We're going to zoom in just for you a little bit. Probably within about the last, I'd say, 8 minutes or so, we did hear a loud boom go off. We have many things to update you on. First, Sheriff, I want to talk about the evacuations here. I know you'd mentioned there's been a couple evacuations that have been happening here over the last couple hours. This is where the nerve center of all of this firefighting effort has been. I'll draw your attention behind me here to the Gordon Volunteer Fire Department. We've seen many trucks come in here throughout the course of the day. Yeah, Chris, good evening. Police do indeed tell us this was a high-speed chase that happened here tonight. It all ended, of course, at the culvers that you see behind me here on Brackett Avenue in Eau Claire. I want to walk around a little bit, show you what we're seeing. Come on over here. You can already see it's piling up on this car right here. Yes, this is that wet, thick snow that's falling across our area right now. I want to show you this igloo that I've been making here over the past hour. I really pride myself on my igloo making skills because this is no igloo like you'll see anywhere else, probably in the Chippewa Valley or the country. I've even included a little billboard on top for us. Chris, good evening. Investigators are still here on the scene. In the past couple hours, we've been seeing them taking measurements, although they have not given us any new information tonight. We did track down the name of the person who owns this house. The ice. This is very familiar. The Wisconsin winter tomorrow morning. The big story is going to be getting that ice off the cars. This one's been out here for several hours today. Now, guys, I was also curious, how do you calculate that $9 million that Michael was talking about? I asked him about that. He says it's the standard formula used in the tourism industry for cities our size. We did talk with former Governor Tommy Thompson a little bit ago as well. He said he expected Walker to win tonight, but did not expect those results to come in as fast. Chris and Sarah, good evening. You can still see the tire marks from where that snowplow accident happened yesterday. The person I talked to said his car actually came up here in the snowbank. His girlfriend's car was actually pushed about 40 feet down the road. Now, both of those people live here in this apartment complex. They say when they looked out the window, they were completely shocked to see their cars all smashed up.
I was parked right by this area here.
Imagine for a moment sitting in your house, your car on the street. You look out the window and see it intact one moment and in pieces the next.
My car had been pushed completely sideways up to this pole.
Ryan Williamson and his girlfriend were home when a plow smashed into their cars yesterday. They remember hearing a loud thud moments before it all happened.
I made a joke that I thought the plow hit my apartment.
A simple sound suddenly became a big deal.
We're currently investigating this accident.
Eau Claire Assistant City Manager Dale Peters says the city is trying to determine what caused the snowplow driver to smash into the cars.
We have no reason to believe that drugs or alcohol were a contributing factor. However, as standard procedure, we do conduct a drug and alcohol test post-accident.
According to the police report, a witness says the snowplow driver hit both cars, got hung up in the snowbank, and when he was free, drove off and continued plowing. Police were able to get the driver back to the scene where they described him as confused and disoriented, not remembering the accident. The officer ended the report by saying he felt the driver had experienced some medical issues causing the crash.
We've reported the accident to our insurance company, and we'll be working with the owners of both vehicles to either replace the cars or to repair the damage.
And so now Williamson and his girlfriend are waiting to see a check. At the same time, counting their blessings, knowing things could have been much worse.
For the type of situation where you have a truck hitting the cars that are in plain sight, you're just happy no one was in them, so that's good.
Williamson says the insurance companies are currently looking at the cars and they should have some answers in the next couple days. As for right now, they are out of cars, but another irony in all of this, where we're standing right now is actually also a bus stop. Live in Eau Claire, Kevin Hurd, WEAU 13 News. From the sights and sounds of practice, you would think the Cadott Hornets had a whole regular season ahead of them, practicing for weekly matchups, hoping to rack up a bunch of wins and put on a show for fans.
Well, with last year, it was canceled halfway through, and that was really heartbreaking.
But this year, even more so for Broyden Bowie, who during his senior year will not get to play regular varsity games. Fans who will have to find something else to do on a Friday night.
It was mostly just the atmosphere and walking around the track, meeting everyone, watching the game, and the food, definitely the food.
A weekly tradition that brings a school together and bridges connections between a team and a town. There's something about high school football that really brings a town together, especially a town like the size of Cadott. And people I talked to downtown tell me today they're really going to miss that connection this season.
I guess it's just a part of going out and being in the community with everybody you know, and just enjoy watching your children play.
Teresa Miles looks forward to the day she can spend Friday nights watching her son play on the football field. But this story has a silver lining.
My whole focus with this whole program is to get these older boys to mentor the younger boys and make this program a whole.
The team's new head coach is focused on building the program from the ground up, investing in players when they're young, hoping that work will pay off in the future and they will have varsity football once again.
Like the way they're building the program up, it brings the fun back into football for me. So I know a lot of all the other guys are having fun too.
Hunter Rudnick's senior season may not be what he expected, but hopes building younger players up will help restore the program he loves, and Broyden Bowie is hoping the Hornets fly even higher.
To see him exceed in the future would be really nice to come back in a few years and watch him have a state championship or something.
In Cadott, Kevin Hurd, WEAU 13 News.
Coob.
You've heard the word.
Coop.
4 letters that at one time probably didn't mean anything, now part of Eau Claire's identity.
And the school district has put it into the Phi Ed program, so 4th and 5th graders throughout Eau Claire learn Coob.
At tonight's concert in Phoenix Park, Coob was one of Visit Eau Claire's main attractions.
And it's a fun outdoor summer activity.
The sport that took over a chunk of Phoenix Park tonight, this weekend, will take over the soccer fields, bringing in more than 300 players for the national tournament.
Coob has become one of the things that we use to identify ourselves as different.
And at the same time, it's become a big money maker for businesses. Michael Struble says he's expecting the tournament to bring in $120,000 into area shops.
The largest spending for travelers is lodging, but then a close second is retail and restaurants and attractions.
Of the 88 teams he says are signed up, 50 are from outside the area from as far away as Arizona. So just how do you play the game that some are traveling hundreds, if not thousands of miles to play? Even I've never played a game of Coob before, but tonight got my first lesson on it here at Phoenix Park. Players in Phoenix Park compared it to a game of pool on the ground. Knock down your Coobs with the batons and then go for the king, which is like an 8-ball. And just like a game of pool, you can take it as seriously as a tournament or play it simple.
It's just a really fun, maybe an alternative to bocce ball or summer volleyball, something a little more laid back.
Tournament play starts at 9 a.m. Saturday morning at the soccer park. Kevin Hurd, WEAU 13 News. New information tonight. The man accused of touching women inappropriately at the nail salon where he worked is now charged with sexual assault. Police arrested 25-year-old Kwok Von Bowie of Eau Claire late last month. Well, with this week of August heat, the snow and cold of winter is probably the last thing on your mind, but the city of Eau Claire is already talking about changes to its snow removal policy. Well, some good news to report tonight. Yesterday we told you about a woman with early stages of dementia reported missing from central Wisconsin. Tonight, police say that woman has been found in Marathon County. We have more information about a fire that broke out at a home in Ladysmith yesterday. Fire Chief Dave Tuma told us today they've determined it was a tabletop magnifying glass on a screened-in porch that started it. It'll also feature flatbread sandwiches along with chicken and rice bowls. And boy, I'm getting a little bit hungry right now. Coming up next in sports, Jen Chapman has highlights from the Brewers, Twins, and PGA Tour, plus highlights from the Predators and Express. Well, it is a Pinterest night, and we know since the weather is going to be heating up, so will your grills. So we found some grill recipes to pin for you tonight. Let's take a look at the ideas. How about a cheese-stuffed, bacon-wrapped hot dog to mix things up? Well, it was a fun but a bit of a sloppy night at Wakanda Park as Team WEAU took part in our 4th annual charity softball game. Our team took on the Menominee Blue Caps vintage baseball team. It's going to say near 90. Got my parents in town. My mama does not like the heat.
No, what so you got to find a lake or river or something. But
something
yeah.
to get away from it. As commonplace as internet access might be for most of us here in the U.S., nearly 2/3 of the world's population still doesn't have it. The entire community of Hudsonville, Michigan is looking to set a world record this weekend. They've set up a huge salad bar, and that's an understatement, stretching almost 700 feet long. All the lettuce, cabbage, carrots, and peppers were said to weigh, get this guys, almost 5,000 pounds.